Right. I'm so glad all of you could be here because I'm running to represent you and your needs on the Board of Commissioners. So just a quick introduction. It's already been said, my name is Zachery Fuller. I'm a local community organizer. I was born here in Griffin, grew up K through 12 at all the public schools, graduated from Griffin High School in 2018. I was working as an events planner then, doing kitchen jobs on the side. And what really got me into activism was I grew up seeing everybody be very apathetic to their future and potential lack thereof. The decline in the economic standards for young people, starting decades ago, and then also other climactic things like climate change, the rise of authoritarianism, things like that. But when I really decided to get serious about it was in 2020 when George Floyd was brutally murdered. That's what made me say, okay, I need to step up and start organizing. So I started participating in mutual aid projects and spreading information online. And since then, that has kind of snowballed into I host an annual Pride Month event at City Park every year. I helped found a mutual aid nonprofit called the Fayette Spalding Cooperative. We help local food pantries and things like that. We created a tool share library for folks to use for free. And I've also knocked on hundreds of doors to spread information, mostly about voting, but also some other things like when the tornado came through a few years ago, helped spread information about the FEMA relief effort. And so that's a little bit about me and sort of my vision for Griffin is like in a more perfect world, I see a local government that citizens can rely on, not to sell them out to big corporations. I see renters and small business owners not worried that they will get priced out by monopolies like Walmart. And I envision a Griffin that doesn't have a housing crisis because we've worked as a community to ensure that every person has a safe place to sleep. Right now, that vision does not exist. But I also envision a government that will be a leader in innovation again. Did y'all know that Griffin Spalding County had the best water system for a very long time in the state of Georgia because of the stormwater system that Dr. Brant Keller helped design back in the 90s? I think we can continue to be an innovator in the state. And if we just do simple things, like if we invest in native plants and then also respect their gender parity, we can get rid of a lot of pollen from just planting the right types of trees. And also, native plants will attract native insects that will eat pests like mosquitoes. So we can reduce mosquitoes, reduce pollen just by incentivizing people planting the right type of things in their yards. And when the city comes through and plants and does landscaping, same thing. And so what do I view my realistic role as a commissioner on our 7-member Board of Commissioners? Well, I view myself as a consistent no on any sort of corporate takeover. So like decades ago, we know Walmart came in, shut down a lot of local businesses, and they sell these things by saying that they create jobs. And it is true they create jobs, but so do local businesses that they are pricing these jobs out of. And so when you go spend your money at Walmart, that money is going to the richest family in one of the richest families in the world, the Walton family, instead of staying in your community. So I want to make sure I'm a no vote on something more modern is data centers. Right now, the city of Griffin and the county are both looking at data center proposals. That's going to take up a lot of energy, a lot of resources, a lot of land. It's going to create noise pollution, light pollution, all for what? For companies to store our data and use it to market to us at best. At worst, could be a lot, more heinous things to use that data for, but I don't think that's appropriate for our small town. So I would be a consistent no vote on anything that would hurt the working class or the residents of this city. And then also, I of course want to represent the views of a younger generation that is struggling financially compared to generations before them. So that's a voice I see lacking in a lot of places, but including on the Board of Commissioners. So I want to, sort of bring that voice to light. I also always want to be open and honest in a place where you feel like you can contact me. And so I want to say my cards are on the table. My personal phone number and my email is on there, so you can reach out to me whenever you need. I'll get back to you as soon as possible. I want to stay open throughout the 4-year term that I would be serving when y'all lovely people elect me, when and if y'all elect me. So now I'll turn it to all of you. If you have any questions for me. Yes.
I just really have a comment. One
Okay.
of my roles was finding a community and then developing a big property for us, the company I was working for. And the last time I did that out of the state of Florida was in the early 2000s. And even then, they were talking about the living wage. So I would say if you're ever in a position where the commission is voting or discussing somebody coming to town, I would say I'll give you a vote of yes if you pay a living wage to all your employees. Because having a job is great, but if it's a job you can't even afford to pay your bills or find a place to live, it needs to be a living wage. And it's difficult for small companies to do that, but big companies are doing it, and big companies are being required to do it.
Mm.
So that's one thing to keep in mind. You know, in the data centers, they don't employ a lot of people, but you're right, they use a lot of resources.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens is when a big data center comes in and slurps up all that energy, what does it do to our energy bills?
Yep. So thank you for saying that. I would say that is exactly why I want to be on the board of commissioners, because when people come to us with projects, which that's what the commissioners see, is they see projects people want to put in the city, whether they need the zoning and construction permits or they need even like a liquor license, they come to the board of commissioners. And I would ask questions like that. Are you going to pay a living wage? Because, I know, especially like when it comes to rent, for example, companies come in and they price out other people. And we don't want that to be happening. We don't want new jobs to come in, replace the opportunity for small businesses, and then wages stay low. And then you brought up the data centers. I was on a call with somebody a couple days ago about data. They are an expert in like these data center construction projects, and I've been hearing from the county meetings that it's going to be like 400 jobs. That is not true. That is including construction. Once these facilities are built and operating, it's going to take a crew smaller than it takes to run a McDonald's.
It's a dark space.
Yeah, it's
So
not.
it's like
Yeah,
five
this is a dark
people.
space. Yeah.
And they may be
Servers.
good paying jobs, but that's a whole lot of resources. That
Well, I
is
think they
hundreds.
have
And
to
a lot of space. A
Yeah.
lot of natural. We're talking about like the erosion and stuff too from natural habitats.
Yes. So the one that the county is looking at is over by where they're constructing the new airport off of High Falls Road, right near the Griffin power plant. So that putting it there worries me for multiple reasons. One is water contamination because it's around those lakes that a lot of the industrial buildings use. But then also they say they're putting it on the line from the power plant so that it won't cause the rolling blackouts that Fayetteville is seeing since they built theirs. Which they also had to build huge new power lines through people's backyards to help prevent those rolling blackouts. So the county says that they put it there so that won't happen. And that is probably true that the rolling blackouts won't happen. But if we have a disaster and we have to rely on just our own power, the data center is getting that power first.
Yeah, because they will be perceived as a priority.
Yes.
Hospitals, something like the data center, right? And they'll probably write into their contracts that they want uninterrupted power, period.
Yeah, what he just said was in their contracts, they may write in they want uninterrupted power, And so that's something that as a commissioner you need to be looking at.
Well, and then should they not be paying their fair share for additional power?